8:19 now, and Dr. Vohn Watts is a clinical and expert of gut health studies and functional medicine who helps people have lasting healing. He is the author of Foundational Wellness, the simple system that ends doctor dependency forever. And October is Liver Health Awareness Month. Dr. Watts is here now to share why the liver is the body's silent CEO. Welcome and good morning to you, Dr. Watts.
Thanks. Good morning.
So tell everybody what you mean when you say the liver is the silent CEO of the body.
Well, yeah, the liver controls so many different parts of the body, like from detoxification to energy regulation to nutrient metabolism, storage, hormone regulation. I mean, there's a number of different processes. I believe it's over 500 processes in the body or essential functions that the liver controls.
And the amazing thing is it regenerates, right? I remember years ago, somebody approached me asking for a lobe because they needed a liver transplant. As it turns out, we weren't a good match. But talk about that you could you could be a living donor, right? And donate a lobe and it grows into a liver.
Yeah, actually, the liver can regenerate even after losing like almost 70% of its mass. So you have three lobes, and you can actually they can take a liver from, say, a transplant person and put that into three different people. So yeah, it's a very resilient organ.
Amazing. So we say that we have two lungs, we have two kidneys, we only have one liver, but in essence you have three livers in that case because of how many people it could help in a donation state. What are some of the early warning signs of liver dysfunction?
Yeah, there's a number of them. It could be anything from fatigue to bruising easily to pain in the upper right quadrant of your kind of just below your right chest. So there's a number of different things there that you'll start to notice with liver disease.
And boy, having had gallbladder issues in 1998 before I had that poor little sucker taken out, it was pretty big. You know what happens when your liver is unhappy. You sure feel it. Speaking as a person with experience. So talk about how processed foods and medications and the environmental toxins that we experience every day, how that all strains the liver.
Yeah, so the liver is basically everything filters through the liver, whether it's medication, food. And so everything has to filter through there. And unfortunately, with especially ultra processed foods, we don't just have foods in there. We have tons of sugar. We have chemicals that are sprayed on them. All that stuff has to filter through the liver. So the liver, when it's doing its job, it oftentimes, I mean, when we're inundating it, it can only keep up so long before it starts to have problems. Just like anything else, just like your car, right? Your engine can only take so much before it starts to break down.
And so basically the liver's a giant filter, right? Or that's one
It
of its
is.
many jobs. So there are teeny little holes that take the molecules and separate them out, which is just amazing. We just evolved that way. Depending on your religious beliefs, I happen to have a belief that somebody with divine inspiration created that. But just still an amazing organ. So what happens to all those toxins? Do they just get passed out in our urine and our fecal matter, or does that eventually some of it stay behind and harm the liver?
Well, so that's one of the main jobs of the liver is to detox. And what will happen with the liver, what it normally does is it will take toxins and it will put it in bile, which then the bile usually gets stored in the liver and in the gallbladder. So it'll slowly drip in when it needs to, and that bile will carry toxins out through the feces. Now, when you don't have a gallbladder, actually, that can make things difficult as well for digestion. But as far as actual detoxification, yeah, that's the main way it does it. It'll go right through the bile, which will then continue on through the digestive tract and out through the fecal matter.
Yeah, it's just you learn being that person with no gallbladder, you just learn don't eat massive amounts of high fat foods all at once unless you intend on staying in for the evening, to say the
Yeah.
least. As I don't have to get into any more detail than that, but you learn to eat more healthfully and you eat lesser, smaller amounts of fats. How can we interpret what our bodies are telling us?
Well, the number one thing to do, what I like to always tell people is test, don't guess. You can go get a liver panel. They're very inexpensive. Even if you're paying cash for it, I mean, you're looking at, I mean, got to be under $30, $40. So
Mhm.
it's a very inexpensive lab to do. I highly recommend getting labs run once a year just to see where things are at, stay ahead of the game. Don't wait until you start feeling symptoms. Usually, when you start feeling symptoms, you're somewhere around 40% all the way already into the disease process. So I'm a big fan of going in, get an annual blood test, and just see where your body's at. Because what you'll find is that you'll often find things that are not functioning properly. You'll find them early, which makes it much easier to take care of and reverse.
So, being somebody here who has AFib, I have a lot, Doc. I'll give you a list. I gave up alcohol about 7 or 8 years ago, and I know it's funny because I used to have the 2 or 3 martini lunch with my TV co-anchors all the time, and then I thought I was helping myself by, I was like, if I had the 3 martinis, I'll just come home and take a bunch of milk thistle, and it'll just be fine. Milk thistle helps, but you don't intentionally cause toxins to come into your liver. As my doctor told me, it's like, here's what the toxins are doing, and here's the milk thistle. So it's like trying to get water out of the Titanic with a bucket. So that's the way he described it. Talk about how now there are ways to help keep your liver healthy, right, in terms of eating correctly, but you don't toxify it, if you will, and then just try to fix it later with little things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Honestly, one of the best things you can do, alcohol is one. NSAIDs like Tylenol, Advil, aspirin,
Mhm.
not taking that regularly, that can be very damaging to the liver. But the biggest one that most people miss, and is probably the largest growing set of population, is non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, which is from ultra processed foods, which is just a bunch of sugar in your diet. And so, one of the best ways to support the liver is to eat real food. And I always say it's real simple. If it grows on the ground, in the ground, swims or flies, you're good to go. If it comes out of a bottle, package, or can, try to avoid it because
Yeah.
it's a real issue. And right now, currently in the United States, somewhere around 40% of the population is dealing with some sort of liver disease. And I bet a big portion of that is from diet.
That's just amazing. And because diet is medicine, right? Truthfully, that's the majority of what we ingest, and that's how we harm ourselves or help ourselves. It just makes so much sense. And I remember I was 360 pounds at one point, and I'm down to half of that. I'm 180 pounds now and have been for years. But in spite of that, I know my doctor told me you could still have fatty liver disease because of the foods you're talking about, eating processed foods or having alcohol and things like that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Your weight doesn't necessarily gonna dictate what your liver is. That's more your diet and your lifestyle. You did mention before how there are certain supplements you can take, things that have like what you said, milk thistle in it. If you don't have a gallbladder, there's a really good ingredient you can find out there called TUDCA,
Mhm.
TUDCA. That's another one. NAC is another really good liver support. But the best support you can give your liver is a healthy diet. And the biggest thing is eat real food. That is the number one thing you can do to help your liver.
That is, and it's just easy, and it's probably the least expensive way to help it too. If you open up my fridge, you will find I'm one of those goofy guys. I have a big thing of organic kale that I put into my diet every single day. I have some kale that's just part of like just to have fiber, and it keeps me full, and then I eat whatever. It's just natural foods. It's as simple as that. You're right. There are very few things in a package or an envelope of any kind in the house, but that's how you stay healthy. When you hear complaints like fatigue and brain fog or hormone issues, how often are those connected to liver issues?
Well, those are three key indicators that you could potentially have liver disease. And if you have all three of them, there's probably a good chance there is something going on with your liver. There's other things as well. Metabolism, your thyroid hormone, 60% of it converts in the liver. So if you don't have a healthy liver, I mean, you can really struggle with weight, with a lot of different things that your thyroid helps to manage, like weight, fatigue, brain fog, your hair thinning, anxiety. I mean, there's a whole long laundry list of things just from how the liver helps support the thyroid. So it's a really I can't stress it enough. It's one of the most important uh, organs to take care of on a regular basis.
Amen. And how should liver health be integrated then into standard healthcare? Because I find that doctors don't really give it the time. Insurance companies push you to get them in and out in 10 minutes. They don't have the time to sit down and have that discussion with their patients.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's our world today. You know, most things that medical doctors do is going to be based on whatever insurance companies are going to cover, and they don't cover natural things by any means. And really, the easiest thing to keep your liver healthy is to do natural things. It's not medication. It's healthy diet. It's taking certain supplementation that can be advantageous, like you listed before, like a product with milk thistle. Just doing natural things, and most docs don't do that. You'll find that a lot with functional medicine doctors. That's kind of their specialty, getting to the root cause and really treating root cause naturally. And you can find anywhere from a medical doctor to a doctor of osteopath to a doctor of chiropractic. They all of them are you'll find as functional medicine doctors.
Love it. What is a website for more information or to find your book?
Yeah, just foundationalwellness.com. You can go there. We have a free gift, a free guide to give you, and then if you like, the book is there as well.
Awesome. He is the author of Foundational Wellness, the simple system that ends doctor dependency forever. Dr. Vohn Watts, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Very valuable information.
Thank you. Appreciate it.